Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's good.
But I don't know if that's quite.
When he does his
What would it be then?
What's that word, Nick?
cutting or putting it all together, then he'll.
They're props, but yet they're
visual aids.
Visual.
There you go.
Very.
Jimi Hendrix. The name alone is all that really needs to be said. Though the decades of the 1960s and 70s arguably saw the largest amount of influential musical acts, Hendrix stood out as an act all of his own. As a singer, songwriter, guitarist, Hendrix made a forever lasting name for himself in the span of only several years before his early age death. Jimi was not just a musician or guitarist though. He was so much more. A cultural icon, a controversial statement, an eternal inspiration, an undeniable legend, and the one who's considered the best there ever was. If you are unaware of all this, I am here to tell you everything there is to know about Hendrix, spending the next few minutes to tell you all about Jimi's life preceding his stardom, his musical career, and his legacy and impact on the world. James Marshall Hendrix was born November 27, 1942, in Seattle, Washington, to James Allen Hendrix and Lucille Hendrix. Jimi was one of 6 children, having 2 brothers and 3 sisters. However, all the girls and his brother Joshua were given up at an early age. Hendrix's parents divorced when he was 9 years old, and later on, in 1958, his mother passed away due to a ruptured spleen. Jimi was 15 at the time. A section of the Wikipedia article on Jimi Hendrix titled Early Life states that Jimi acquired his first acoustic guitar for $5 from an acquaintance of his father. This guitar replaced both the broomstick he had been strumming in imitation and the ukulele which his father had found while cleaning out a garage. Being entirely self-taught, Hendrix got his first electric guitar as a gift from his father, and soon after joined his first real band titled the Velvetones. Though he earned an honorary diploma, Hendrix never completed high school, claiming that he had been expelled due to racial prejudice after he held hands with a white girl. After his schooling, Jimi enlisted in the Army as an alternative to jail time, and was positioned at Fort Campbell, Kentucky as part of the 101st 1st Airborne on May 31st, 1961. His time in the Army was short-lived, however, for Jimi received an honorable discharge after injuring his ankle during his 26th jump. After being discharged, Hendrix returned to music and ensued work as a session artist, working for various acts including Ike and Tina Turner, Sam Cooke, and particularly Little Richard. By the end of 1965, Jimi had parted ways with Little Richard to form his own band, that he called the Jimi James and the Blue Flames. But this turned out to be short-lived as well. In 1966, the Blue Flames were performing at Greenwich Village's Cafe Wah, when Jimi bumped into Animals bassist Chas Chandler, who was impressed with Hendrix's playing and invited him to come back to England with him to start a new band. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, as it became known to be called, was comprised of Jimi on guitar and vocals, Noel Redding on bass guitar, and Mitch Mitchell on drums. As soon as the Experience was formed, they gained success with the release of their debut album, Are You Experience, which is this right here. A now classic album in which all 17 of the songs eventually became a hit. The most notable of these were Hey Joe, The Wind Cries Mary, and Purple Haze. Though Are You Experience gained Jimi and company instant fame in the UK, the United States was not as receptive. The Jimi Hendrix Experience was barely even known over in the States. The Experience performance at the Monterey Pop Festival in California changed all of that. During the last song of their set, Jimi famously began playing the guitar behind his back, above his head, and with his teeth and feet, climaxing with lighting the guitar on fire and using it to smash the stage and the equipment on it to bits, which can be seen here. Literally overnight, the Experience became one of the largest bands in the world. Soon their second album, Axis Bold as Love, which is right here, hit the charts, becoming another classic with songs including Little Wing and Bold as Love. Seizing momentum, the Experience released their third classic in a row, Electric Ladyland, which is right here, which included songs such as Voodoo Child, Slight Return, and All Along the Watchtower. Unfortunately, due to overnight fame and added pressure of it, the Experience broke up on June 30th, 1969, because of Noel Redding's personal ambitions. The breakup did not stop Jimi, though. Roughly a month later, Hendrix, along with a new band titled Gypsy Sun and Rainbows, were headlining the famous Woodstock Festival. Though rains deterred the festival, Hendrix performed his longest set ever, which included his classic rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, which can be seen over here. On December 31st, 1969 through January 1st, 1970, Hendrix, along with friends Billy Cox on bass and Buddy Miles on drums, performed the now famous New Year's midnight concert at the Fillmore East as the Band of Gypsies, which can be seen through these. Originally described by David Fricke in Rolling Stone issue 1101, published on April 1st, 2010, which is seen here, Jimmy excitedly opened his own private recording studio to the world on August 22nd, 1970. Hendrix named his studio the Electric Lady. Sadly, this grand opening was the last time Hendrix would be in his beloved studio. 3 weeks later, while on tour in Europe, Jimi Hendrix suffocated on his own vomit while sleeping, dying on September 18, 1970. He was 27. Though Jimi Hendrix died at a very early age, his legacy is continuing to impact millions. In 1997, the Hendrix family released First Rays of the New Rising Sun, which is right here, a posthumous 4th record which was intended to be released in the 70s if Jimmy had not died. In 2010, Jimmy's family released Valleys of Neptune, which is right here, another posthumous record which became Hendrix's 5th overall. Like in 1997, Valleys of Neptune was intended for release in the 70s. Both of these records debuted in the top 10. Hendrix has also won many awards after his death. He is number 1 on Rolling Stone's Greatest Guitarist of All Time. He was ranked number 3 on both of VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock and 100 Greatest Artists of Rock and Roll. 6 of Hendrix's solos were voted into the 100 Greatest Solos of All Time by Guitar World. In 1992, Jimmy won the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and later on that year was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with The Experience. In 2005, he was inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame. And in 2006, RU Experience was inducted into the United States National Recording Registry. Also, Jimmy was the first person inducted into the Native American Music Hall of Fame. From his early life, which led to his rock stardom, which then turned into a legacy, Hendrix led a life unlike any other. In the span of only 4 years, Jimmy crafted a name for himself that has proven to continuously live on long after he himself departed. Now you too can become one of the countless fans of Jimi Hendrix. So what are you doing listening to me? Go home, turn on the stereo, and listen to Jimmy.